Alright friends, this video is about an introduction to atheism and an analysis of the basic tenets on which atheism stands from Wikipedia and Free Encyclopedia. Atheism is in a broad sense the rejection of belief in the existence of deities. In a narrower sense, atheism is specifically the position that there are no deities. Most inclusively, atheism is the absence of belief that any deities exist. Atheism is contrasted with theism, which in its most general form is the belief that at least one deity exists. So, it's commonly said that atheism is the rejection of the belief in the existence of deities. They avoid to say the fact that they do not believe in God. Otherwise, the burden of proof will shift to their shoulders, which they cannot show. They cannot prove the fact that God does not exist. So they are also basing their opinion on a belief. Atheism is a belief system, the basic tenets of which will be discussed in this video and my next videos. So this is an escapist argument, and now this is also an escapist definition of atheism, that it is a rejection of belief in the existence of deities, while at the same time they claim to say that they actually do not know whether deities exist or not. At the same time, they say that the atheism is the rejection of belief in the existence of deities. This is ridiculous. Rejection of the belief in the existence of deities means that deities do not exist. So the fact that we do not know whether deities exist or not makes no sense at all. This is one of the paradoxes that atheists are always in. Arguments for atheism range from the philosophical to the social and historical approaches. Rationales for not believing in deities include arguments that there is a lack of empirical evidence. This first point is so ridiculous that it makes me laugh. Empirical evidence, in contrast, proves the existence of God rather than disproving it. Empirical evidence proves the existence of God rather than disproving it. For example, you can refer to my video, existence of the DNA is the proof of the existence of God, or any other such material in this regard. So, an analysis of the world around us, which is known as empiricism, that is practical experience, enables us to conclude that there is a God. For example, when you analyze all the complex systems in the biological systems and the physical world, they are so complex and incredibly complex that it's difficult to believe that they have not been created by someone. For example, the aerodynamical lift mechanism of the birds requires an intelligence for its formation, and the DNA that codes for all the proteins that result in the development of this system in the bird is to be formed by an intelligence, and that intelligence is what we refer to as God, because this intelligence is required in the construction of all the biological systems that we have today and all the physical systems. This is addressed in separate videos. The topic of this video is a discussion of atheism. The second tenet, the second proof of atheism that is presented is the problem of evil. This is a foolish argument which states that since evil is present in this world, therefore there will be no God. As God is omnipotent and God is capable of stopping evil, and evil is present, therefore there is no God. Since evil is present in this world, therefore there is no God. The basic assumption in this case is that if God is omnipotent, then he must stop evil. So this is not necessarily true. If God is omnipotent, it is not necessary that he stop evil. For example, if if a country is a superpower, it is not necessary that he kill all the human beings on this earth or he invade all the nations of this world. So maybe there are some other things in the mind of the superpower, so that does not make him less of a superpower if he does not invade a country, but he is still a superpower. Similarly, if God is omnipresent, omnipotent, he can stop evil, he cannot stop evil. There are both, he can stop evil, but there are two possibilities in this case. He wants to stop evil, point number one. He does not want to stop evil, point number two. So we do not know whether he wants to stop evil in a case or he does not want to stop evil in another case. In some cases, he may not want to stop the evil. So in this case, the argument breaks down that the presence of evil disproves the omnipotence of any God. For example, if a human being is traveling for his flight and he is caught in a traffic jam, this thing is perceived as evil by that human being. But later on, he receives the news that the flight that he was going to take has crashed. Now, due to this fact, he got advantage. So he suffered evil in the way that is his car was stuck in the traffic jam, but this evil protected him from a greater evil, that is his flight was going to get blasted and he was going to get killed. So sometimes the creator allows the occurrence of a smaller evil in order for the greater good. So this is one of the reasons that God allows evil to occur sometimes. One more reason that God allows evil to occur is that this world is a test for the hereafter. So a human being has two choices. That is, he has two choices. One choice is to follow God, and another choice is to disobey Him. So if he follows God despite being potent or disobeying Him, then he passes the test. And if he disobeys God, then he failed the test. So God has to enable a human being to do good and evil both in order for him to try the human being. For example, a teacher teaches students in his class a particular subject, and when there is the time for examination, he tests them. He puts difficult questions to the students. Some of the students are able to do the questions and answer the questions, but some of the students are not able to answer the questions. So they are suffering in the students who are not able to answer the questions. There's evil. But in this case, this evil is necessary in order to judge whether a particular student is able to grasp the studies well or not. So he is tested, his ability is tested, whether the student is competent or not in the particular subject. That is tested by this evil. So the presence of evil is necessary in order to test a human being. The third thing that evil is in this world is that the God Almighty tests the human beings, the believers. That is a separate thing. We need not to discuss that. So evil may be present in this world in order to differentiate good from evil also. So if there is no evil, then what is good? It becomes a ridiculous thing. So the presence of evil does not prove the fact that God does not exist. This is so ridiculous. Since since a person X killed a person Y, therefore there is no God. How ridiculous is this argument? The third argument that is presented is argument from inconsistent revelations. This states that all the religions of the world present revelations which are conflicting. So which of the religions would you follow, and which of the religions is a true religion? So it is better to unfollow all the religions and not and to assume that all of them are wrong. This is again an understatement, and is based upon and is not based on facts. It lacks a thorough study of the religions of the world, because when a thorough study of the religions of the world is done, it is seen that all of them have some common points. For example, all of them believe in monotheism. The major religions of the world believe in monotheism. Monotheism is advocated by the major scriptures of the world. For example, the Bible, the Quran, the Hindu scriptures. All of them contain monotheism. All of them contain the fact that alcohol is prohibited. All of them forbid from adultery. All of them contain the prophecies for Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and all of them contain the prohibition of the swine meat. So there are some common points in all the religions of the world. This is a proof for the existence of God rather than a disproof. It's a very wonderful fact, and it is amazing that all the scriptures in the world point out to some common points. This is due to the fact that in the olden times there was no communication, and it was not possible to transfer a thing from one from geographical part of the world to another. So how did all the scriptures in different parts of the world, which are thousands of kilometers away, how did all the documents in these places come to have the same common points in them? This is possible only if the information that's contained in them was supplied by the same creator through angels to the different prophets of different times. So this is a more valid argument than the foolish argument that is presented. And the last one is the argument from non-belief. That is, since many people who are intelligent believe that there is no God, therefore there is no God. A counter argument may be, since many intelligent people believe that there is God, therefore there is a God. So therefore, in this case, the fourth argument is nullified by the fact that atheists will not believe the argument that since many intelligent people believe that there is God, therefore there is a God actually. So this is a subjective argument, and it will take atheists nowhere. Although some atheists have adopted secular philosophies, for example humanism and skepticism, there is no one ideology or set of behaviors to which all atheists adhere. This is yet another escapist argument. You cannot be nothing. You have to be something. You have to be secular, you have to be a humanist, you have to be a skepticist, or you have to be a religionist. You have to be something. So this is an escapist argument in order to avoid answering the logical fallacies and other such things that you have to answer to religionists when you say that you are a humanist, or you are a skepticist, or you are a secular individual. This is also a try to shift the burden of proof. Many atheists hold that atheism is a more parsimonious worldview than theism, and therefore that the burden of proof lies not on the atheist to disprove the existence of God, but on the theist to provide a rationale for the theism. This is again an escapist argument that and a subjective one. Many atheists hold that atheism is a more parsimonious worldview. This is not the case, because atheism has many assumptions inherent in it, and the number of assumptions that are in atheism are far greater than the number of assumptions in theism. So it's a subjective opinion that it is more parsimonious. In reality, it is not. It is less parsimonious than the worldview that theism. Theism has only one assumption, that is God existed, and that is also based on evidence. And atheism has many assumptions which are not based on any scientific evidence at all. Below we will analyze some of the assumptions of atheism and some of the dreadful consequences and dreadful implications of atheism. The assumption number one is God does not exist. This assumption cannot be proved by anyone, neither by an atheist, and there's no scientific method that can be used to prove this assumption. And atheists will then say, then you have to prove that your God exists. They again want to shift the burden of evidence to the theists. While there is reasonable evidence for the existence of God, there is none for the non-existence of God. Here also, if an argument is presented to the atheist, is that suppose that God does not exist, how can you prove that God does not exist? We need a scientific method to prove that God does not exist. That cannot be done. Religions are false. This is the second assumption. Nothing was created. This is the third assumption. So these are the assumptions. These are the covert assumptions. The atheist would not explicitly obey to them, and he would not express them. But these are what he meant. These are the things that they mean. They do not say these things, but they mean these things. Religions are false. This cannot be scientifically proved. And nothing was created. This can also not be scientifically proved. We need a scientific explanation of everything if you want scientific explanation from us. So these are implications. These are the assumptions of atheism. Life is purposeless. We are not here for any particular cause. There is no afterlife. These are also some of the beliefs of atheism. Purposelessness. These are also not provable by the scientific method. In contrast, we believe that life has a purpose and we are here for worshipping God and helping others and being better human beings, and we are here to do good deeds and stay away from bad deeds. That is the purpose of this test. This life is a test for the hereafter. There is an afterlife. There is a day of recompense on which all the deeds of a man will be held accountable for all the deeds that he did. This is a far better position than that of the atheist, and both are not based on scientific reasoning, but the later position that I said of Islam is better and more logical. There is no recompense for your deeds, so you can do anything you want. This is a dreadful implication of atheism. Since there is no recompense for your deeds, so you can do anything you want in this world to achieve your own ends. You can kill, rape, murder, plunder, and oppress people in order to achieve your ends. If you somehow bypass the judicial system of the world, then you are not going to be held accountable on in any case by anyone. So this encourages people who are criminals to do bad deeds. Nothing is good or bad. This is yet another proposition, assumption, and it cannot be proved by scientific method. In contrast, we believe that the things that have been prohibited by religion are bad, and the things that have not have been advocated by religion are good. This does not mean that we have not to use logic. The religion sets for us some basic guidelines, and beyond that we have to use logic in order to differentiate between what is good and bad. And everybody knows what is good and bad. Murdering is bad, looting is bad, raping is bad, and helping others is good. So there is basically a difference between good and bad. If you rely wholly on the scientific method, you cannot be able to tell the difference between the good and bad things. Man is just an animal and is here to satisfy his needs. In contrast, this is yet another assumption or implication of the atheism. We have analyzed this in another video, a separate video. In contrast, we have in Islam have the belief that man is not an animal only. Man is not an animal because man is a higher animal. that is, he's better than all the animals because he has a higher intellectual capacity, and he has other things that animals do not have. The first life somehow spontaneously sprang into existence. The first DNA somehow came from RNA, which somehow formed spontaneously. In short, there is a naturalistic beginning of the world by chance. This is one of the ridiculous, one of the most illogical arguments of atheism. Most of the atheists will not express this argument overtly because they know that it is so illogical that it will deflate their arguments. But they mean it because the discourse, the basic belief system that they believe in entails that this belief be a part of their belief system. RNA cannot form spontaneously. DNA cannot also form spontaneously, but they have to believe that they form spontaneously because they are existing. DNA and RNA are existing. That means, in the atheist perspective, they have to be formed spontaneously. Giving alms to the poor is wastage of wealth. This is a logical argument from the side of the atheists, but we believe that this is not an illogical argument. It is an illogical argument, and giving alms to the poor is not a wastage of wealth. It will reward you in the hereafter. This is a belief that we believe in, and it is better than the belief that giving alms to the poor is a wastage of wealth. Morality is not to be taken seriously. This is yet another belief of atheism without scientific proof. Science is what religion is not. This is the most ridiculous thing that I've ever heard. To be continued.